Namaste. Doksha Hour. This is Doksha Hour. I am Maggie Ross, and I am live from Porcupine, South Dakota, along the Porcupine Creek where the porcupines roam. Anyways, I'm glad to be here. I'm having a little bit of difficulty. I'm trying to. I lost my mouse to my laptop, and so I just used the mouse or the key mouse thing, and it doesn't, the clicks don't want to work. So when I click on it to unmute or click on it to do something, it doesn't do it. So anyway, the struggles we have in the Doksha Our House. Anyways, I did send a link invite to Tony Handboy. And so if she joins, she joins. If she doesn't, that's fine too. Um, we're ready to rock and roll. I spent some time this week, or yesterday anyways, and I called a friend that I haven't talked to in a long time. And so I called and we visited about everything under the sun. It was good. It was good. Usually her and I, we used to work together and at Rocky Ford School and up at Red Shirt and then back at Rocky Ford School. But yeah, we used to sit and have lunch and just hang out and stuff and help each other out a lot. We helped each other a lot, and so it was good. It was really good for me to take time and visit with her because it's been over a year, I think it's been, or close to. And so I've been trying to do that, like reach out or get back in touch with people and talk to them and maybe have lunch or dinner or something. So it's just really trying to move us in a way that, or for myself, to reconnect with people. Social media does take a lot of our time. It takes a lot of our distraction as well. So oftentimes we might be focused about things um, and not really being paying attention. And like for me, it's a little bit of the opposite for me. Like I know a lot of things going on, and so sometimes social media is my distraction. So I don't have to think about it. Because if I think about things too much, then I'm going to think myself into a lot of trouble. I was watching some things and uh how do I want to say this? I was watching some people's posts or whatever. And so this is out of a book of Donald Trump's, and I can't remember what the title of that book. It isn't The Art of the Deal, it's something else. Anyways, he talks about uh the four great pieces of advice. And so the first one is what kind of got me. And then the second one, I didn't get to see the other ones because it was only on one page and it didn't go to the third and fourth. And I'm not buying his book to find out what it says. So that's that. Anyways, so his first advice he said he received from some person that told him he kind of grumbled to the person about what somebody was making, their income, and that he didn't feel like they deserved that income. And I know this is going to be counterproductive to Trump today, but this is, kind of the advice that was given to him. And so he said that the advice that was given to him by so and so, I don't have the quote or the stuff in front of me, so I'm just going off of memory, but basically said to him, his advice was, um, did you ever watch a horse race, or you should be involved in horse racing? You should be a horse racer. Have you ever been? Do you know anything about horse racing? He says, yes, horses race each other and they go hard. And so he then says, um, the whole focus of horse racing is the blinders. So those horses are, have these blinders and they're going and they're racing. And so he said, be like a horse racer, or be like that horse. Run your own race with your blinders. Don't be looking around. Don't be, That was what I got from it. Don't be looking around and looking at what other people are doing and making and how that's in relation to you. Run your own race. So I was thinking, yeah, that's some good advice. Because sometimes we get like that, right? Like we like start looking around like that's not right, that's not right, within our own places of employment and whatnot. So we start looking around. But then I was thinking, that's really like individualistic advice. And that's the state of where we're at today. Everybody's like that. They have their blinders on and they're just focusing on their own race. So it's like that Iktomi story. Put the bag over your head and or close your eyes is what he said, right? Close your eyes. Iktomi said in that story. Close your eyes. And then he started to take them because nobody's eyes were open, nobody was paying attention. He started taking them out. And then one of the ducks opened her eyes and said, "Hey, open your eyes, we're getting unalived here." But so that's the dangers of the blinder advice. It's great advice to help you, because oftentimes, like me, I go to work. I, what I do in my work is important. That's how I view all my work. It's important work, but maybe to that institution, but I'm a care provider. I have children and grandchildren, and a mother and other relatives that I need to be helping. And so if I don't have an income, then I'm not really able to, I'll have to find a different way to help. Is one way. Sometimes we think of things like that. Like we need the income, we need to do this, and we need to provide this support for our relatives. And we need to pay our bills. We need to um because nobody else is over here doing that. No one's bread and buttering our tables. And it's a position that we fought for a very long time as reclaiming our own space and place within our own society. So we used to have, all white people, excuse my language, all non-Indian people working within our institutions, teachers, BIA, IHS, um, social service, anything that was a service that was supposed to be provided through treaty, it was all provided by white non-Indians. They'll be dinging me on YouTube using that language. Oh, did you see that, Steve? I it's a trend. I don't know if you know that, but on TikTok it's a trend, these baby TikToks or whatever. And so then I thought I'm gonna do that, and I am gonna do some more with it. I'm gonna do um more things with the baby talk. And I even said to Nikki Pipe on Head, let's do one, and we'll do it like in a podcast setting, and we'll do just a little video like that, and see how that comes out. And she's like, "Yeah, let's do it." So we might do that. Oh yeah, yeah, the horse racer. Anyways, I should get back to that. Not be looking at the chat over here because Steve, you always make me laugh. Oh, thank you. Anyway, so I'm gonna go back. I have two screens. So one screen is the Zoom screen and the other screen is the YouTube screen. And so when I look at the YouTube screen, I can start seeing comments and stuff. I get distracted. So all right, the focus here. We're talking about the great advice. So he says that's the first one, the horse blinder things. The second advice that he said was Let's see if I can remember it correctly or similarly correct. Uh, I'm just gonna go look because I already forgot it. Horse race, and so I'm all over. Like I have all kinds of like I'm in Discord, and so I see a lot of different stuff in Discord, and so that's where I saw this. Um, it's like they force us to go into so many different places to communicate with each other. So like you go on one, and then like Discord is a gaming app, and so everybody's in Discord because there's not a lot of um blocking and whatever of that. So okay, so this is what it says here. Oh, this one's so the book supposedly is Trump, The Way to the Top, the best business advice I ever received. And then this is it's Guy Osiri, I guess. The page says Guy Osiri, co-partner and CEO of Maverick Recording Company. And then he says, four people have given me sound nuggets of wisdom that have helped me keep business in perspective. When I was 19, I complained to David Giffen about some other people in the entertainment business who were making a lot of money and who I didn't think deserved it. David turned to me and said, "You need to be a racehorse. Do you know the racehorse? Do you know what racehorses do?" I answered, "They race." David replied, "No, they wear blinders. If they look to the left or right, they would lose. Don't look to the left and don't look to the right. Wear blinders and race your own race." So, with that, that's good advice. But then we're all wearing blinders and we don't know what's going on around us. So, that's the downside of the wearing blinders. And then he says, one day when my Kabbalah teacher, Etan Yardeni, asked how I was doing, I told him I needed a break. I was thoroughly exhausted, overwhelmed, and overworked. Etan then said, "Do you know what you should do now?" I thought he was going to encourage me to take some time off, but instead he replied, "No, go work harder. Be careful what you ask for because you may get it." Eaton was right. If I asked for a break, God may hear me and I may get one, a long one. I took this advice to heart and started to work even harder. And so that's another thing is like when we're tired, we want to take a break, and oftentimes breaks can sidetrack us and then we're off on to another adventure and we don't finish what we started, or we're not committed to what we're doing. And so I like that advice as well, that when you work, when this is the other thing. I've gone to Lakota ceremonies and stuff, and they would tell you that too, about being careful what you pray for. And one time I went to one and a person was praying for patience, needing patience, and then was becoming very frustrated because like it was never ending. And so it was explained to them that when you pray for patience, the creator is going to test you constantly until you get patience, until you learn it. And so really understanding like how we put things out there in the world, I think is pretty good advice. So um patience, like maybe we need understanding, or maybe where we're not, we really have to learn our own emotional control, or how we control ourselves with our emotions. And I know I fail a lot. I will struggle with it, and I've always struggled with it because I do too much. I do too much, and then I'm harder on myself than I am on anybody else. But I will overcommit myself, and then but I'll just keep doing it, and then I'll be extremely exhausted, and then um, then I'm trying to recover from being exhausted. But I keep going. I don't know if there's some days though that I'll crash and I'll stay in bed, like not getting out of bed. I can't do it. And I think those are some of my downsides, like I need to push myself to get up and do stuff, but my body will be really tired, and so I'm just resting. But anyway, so that's just the advice, I guess, that was in this book of Trump's. I was so I was telling you that I got to visit with a friend that I haven't visited with for a long time, and I was telling her Doksha Hour because she asked about Doksha Hour, and I told her I'm it moved to YouTube, and she said I was wondering you were gone off, and telling her about my issue about Meta, and just the abuse of what Meta does with our information and things that we don't even know. Like we think our messenger app is pretty safe, but it's not. Like the way it's set up, and you go through, you agree to the terms, and you log into your Wi-Fi at home because you're on your phone Facebook instead of just, or your messenger Facebook instead of getting on a computer to do that. Well, then you give Messenger the approval to access your Wi-Fi. Remember the TikTok thing when they were saying, "Does TikTok access my Wi-Fi?" And they're like, "If you hook it up, it will." So what what Messenger does is been able to create a way in which when you use your home Wi-Fi, it can come through that and pull any data. So, like if you have a smart TV, it's going to pull what you're watching off your smart TV. I'm not one of those people that can afford a smart refrigerator, but the same thing for that. Anything, your printer, anything that you connect to that Wi-Fi system, the Messenger app can pull that information. And there's so much stuff that they're doing, like an AI. So AI in Messenger is combing through your Messenger app and getting all your information and using it in AI. So they're using your Messenger stuff to build their AI system so that AI, has answers, and then you in all AI, it's like you have to build the AI off of the normalcy of people communication. So their natural thing is to comb the internet. So they're going to comb the internet. That's like, so if you ever think about Siri on Apple, and sometimes when you try to talk to Siri, she just goes and gives you a web page to read. So that's some of the AI stuff. Like they're not just going to come back and they're not interpreting the information. They just give it to you. Here, read it. But with the way AI is moving, AI is interpreting. It can interpret. You can ask it to interpret, and so it'll give you a bunch of information. And so AI is really, the Pope has just come out against AI. The previous Pope, too, Pope Francis, he was against AI. He said we should be concerned about it. And this Pope, Pope Leo the 14th or 15th? What is it? Anyways, Pope Leo, he has recently come out against AI, and that we should be very alarmed and concerned about it because of how AI, just like that baby video, I was able to take a part of that video and screenshot it, the original TikTok video that I made, screenshot it, and then I uploaded that picture to AI. And I said, make a baby version of me. And AI says, is this you or is it somebody else? And I say, it's me. And so then it says, okay, I will do that. And so it created a baby picture. And then I went to a different app that I downloaded the voice. I downloaded my voice and I turned it into an MP3 or MP4. I can't remember what version, but anyways, I turned it into that. And then I went to another app and I put the voice and then I put the image. And then created a video from it. And so some of this is great, like I'm watching, I just watched the Dukes of Hazards in baby format. I watch Donald Trump in baby format arguing with Barack Obama in baby format. It's crazy, but I get a big kick out of it. Here's one, I'll show you one that I was sending out yesterday because it was so hilarious for me. Let's see. I think it's in my favorites. Or maybe I didn't favorite. Darn it. Or maybe they removed it already. Shoot. Okay, let me go to my likes. My liked videos. Okay, here it is. I'm going to share this. He keeps talking. This is one of my. Oh, I was hysterical last night laughing at this. It was so funny. Oh, where'd it go? I lost it. Let me go back here.
Computer. There is an icon labeled My Computer on your computer. Double click it. What the hell? What is your computer doing on my computer? Double click on your computer. Which icon do I have to click? My computer. Tell me, where do you live? I go to your house to click on your computer. Oh my god! Okay, double click on my computer. I can see your computer. No. Click on my computer on your computer. How can I click on your computer from my computer? There is an icon labeled My Computer on your computer. Double click it. What the hell? What is your computer doing on my computer? Double click on your computer. Which icon do I have to click? My computer. Tell me, where do you live? I go to your house to click on your computer. Oh my god! Okay, double click.
Anyways, I was hysterical. I don't know how many times I watched that last night, and I was hysterical. I was just laughing and laughing and laughing. I was like, oh my God, this is too funny. And I was sitting there laughing so hard, I was crying, and my granddaughter was like, Grandma, are you okay? Really checking me out, rubbing my back and everything. It was hilarious. Shoot. So that's some of the things that you can do with AI, and I'm very like impressed with it. But the dangers, right? Because now you have a lot of videos, so I'll have to really watch things now and to see if that is an actual AI manipulated video. Because you're supposed to say, right, somewhere on your thing, it should say AI generated or something. But so I was watching like the Chinese. The Chinese were they were crediting the Chinese for dropping food in Gaza. This was about 3 weeks ago. And pretty soon the people in Gaza were saying that's not true. That's not true. That is an old video. And so what they found is that there was an older video and then they just kind of manipulated it or something to make it look like now. And so there was no food drop in Gaza. So that's like really um, important to know. And so we can be manipulated through AI. And so that's what the Pope is saying, that, there we have to be careful. And then there's Congress people and I go like that when my Congress people are talking because they're the art, they have the art of propaganda. They've been lying to the American people forever. And so when they're trying to tell us about being afraid of propaganda, that AI can generate propaganda that they need to do something about it. The other thing is good luck with that because you remember all of those AI people, all of those technology people were at Trump's inauguration and they were big donors to him. And so we have to be careful how we use it. And I've been encouraging like at the college university level, and this should probably even be in high school level where people are looking at propaganda in this way. Like, what is propaganda? What is the truth? And so, like, we'll hear a lot of propaganda about, um, and like, I don't have the time to go and redo my history research and stuff on World War II, on Nazi Germany. I don't have the time for that. I mean, I could make the time, um, and I might have to, because there's a lot of stuff coming out. Like they're talking about the narrative, and the narrative in Nazi Germany, like that was not a true, that was propaganda put out by what they call Zionists. And so I'm listening to people who are talking about like there wasn't millions of people, it wasn't millions of um, Jewish people that were um, genocided during World War II. That the gas chambers did not even do what people said they did. Um, because they were not big enough and they would not heat enough or whatever. So like there's all and so it's just really important to be careful. Um because there are neo-Nazis. There are people out here in this world that are against Jewish people at any level and they're going to attach on to anything. And so they could be heavy in the Gaza issue because they don't want Israel to exist. So it's really important, and so I think even the Palestinians will say that we don't like Zionists. It's not the Jewish people, it's the Zionists. And really making the clear distinction. And neo-Nazis don't make the clear distinction. They will just put all of the Jewish people with the Zionist people and then blame them all for all the bad things in the world is blamed on them. And you think, how does that happen? How is this happening? And so it's really important that we take the time and we use our own efforts and our own brain and our own capabilities of inquiry and ask questions and do our own research. And, and then to really understand the art of propaganda. Because propaganda, hate is in the homes. I don't know if you guys know this. I gotta take a drink of coffee because this is gonna be a mind blower. Maybe not really, but so there is a poll that has come out in um, Israel. The Haaretz posted a journal article on the. They did a poll of Israeli people and their belief on Gaza. And what their poll found, and they put this out. Um, let's see. Oh, it's already gone. It was on you could find it in there anyways. I don't maybe Israel got mad at them for doing that. Let me see. So okay, here's something of it. It's in the middle. This one's in the coming or printed in the Middle East Eye. It says nearly half of Israelis support arming, killing all Palestinians in Gaza, poll finds. So it says an overwhelming majority of Israeli Jews support the transfer of Palestinians from Gaza, according to a poll by Pennsylvania State University. The survey conducted in March and published by Haaretz newspaper on Thursday found that 82% of Israeli Jews support the forced expulsion of Palestinians from the Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, 47% of Israeli Jews answered yes to the question, do you support the claim that the Israeli army in conquering an enemy city should act in a manner similar to the way the Israelites did when they conquered Jericho under the leadership of Joshua, i.e., to kill all its inhabitants? The reference is to the biblical account of the conquest of Jericho. Earlier this month, Israel launched the Operation Gideon's Chariots in the besieged strip, which, according to the Israeli news outlet Ynet, is intended to advance U.S. President Donald Trump's plan to clean out Gaza. Ynet reported that during the operation, the Israeli army plans to push as many Palestinians as possible toward the Rafah area in the southern Gaza Strip, where food and aid will be delivered. The new military plan is also aimed at promoting the voluntary immigration of Palestinians, according to Ynet. The new plan has garnered support among the majority of the Israeli public, even though the Israeli Army Chief of Staff, Eyal Zamir, warned that it would pose danger to the lives of the Israeli captives in Gaza. So, in this whole thing, and it's really crazy. There's some videos out, and I'll link them today. I'll make some time to. I'll link this article, and then I'll link the videos. But there are people, women, mind you, that are saying, well, they're one of their Knesset, their legislative people, was talking about killing all the children. That's what has to happen is you have to kill all the children. And and so there's all these Israeli people and they're women, they're asking them and they're saying yes. yes, we have to kill all the children. And so now people are just out asking for military intervention because it is the majority of Israeli people believe this, have that mindset. And so what do you do? How do you stop that if your own Israeli people cannot stop you from doing that? And the United Nations came out with a report that said within 48 hours, there would be a large number of children that would die due to starvation. And so we're seeing that. I've seen videos of children who are starving, who are just bones, who are um, at that place. And so then it's really unfortunate to see that. And people will say, "Oh, Donald Trump separated from Netanyahu," but he did it. And Netanyahu continues to say that, right? Israel continues to say that we are clearing out Gaza so that Trump can come in and rebuild it for them. And then they've just done in the West Bank, the settlers over there are just evicted a whole a town population of 200 people, evicted them and took all of their houses and everything, and they harassed them for a year. And so they just end up packing. The Palestinians end up packing and leaving. So they're leaving behind their farm animals, they're leaving behind everything and all of what they can get onto the back of a buggy or whatever is what they have. And so that's kind of what's going on there. Huh? No, you can drink some water. Anyway, so that is what is kind of going on with Gaza. And so they're asking for people to intervene. And I did it. I called Johnson. Johnson's the only one that answered this week. So now I'm going to be doing the email asking for military intervention. Um, the amount of money that the United States is putting into doing that to Gaza versus funding healthcare here. I have a 5-year-old that's a little cranky this morning, looking to get herself in some trouble. Anyways, so there's that going on, and how, and I don't know if you guys know, but Joe Biden was diagnosed, and it came out this week that he has prostate cancer, and a really aggressive prostate cancer. So he is in stage 4. And so there's a lot of, opinions about him. There's a lot of opinions about whether, like he had that for a long time. JD Vance, our vice president, he doesn't know that Jill Biden is a doctor of education and not a doctor of medicine. So he was trying to shame her, throw shade at her for not knowing and being able to diagnose her husband. Okay, JD. Anyway, so that is going on, and there is some um people saying things, like whether he, you know, it's like this shame thing. And so there are people um that are saying, so the announcement came out, and then people were in the comments saying free Palestine, are making some kind of reference to Palestine. And then so these other creators getting all mad Democrats, getting all mad and saying, shame on you guys for, doing that. And he has cancer. And so then I really like this one girl. She came back out and she said, yeah, but what about this? When he was president, this guy had cancer and he was in Gaza and they blew up the Cancer Institute there. And so he's been suffering for well over 8 months without any cancer care, without any medication. He's been suffering. And so it's kind of like that, like, and I really like the spitfire people whenever they come back at um the silencers, like shame on you. No, shame on you. And like I I really was thinking about our own people, who get diagnosed with cancer, and IHS is underfunded under Biden and under Trump, and how our own people are not able to. Oh my goodness, that girl. Anyways, so we have our own people who can't get referrals or get referrals, and then IHS doesn't pay the bill, and IHS cannot hire doctors or keep doctors. Like there's this whole systemic issue with IHS. And here we have Joe Biden. Everybody, oh, poor Joe Biden. Like I'm like, isn't he General Joe? I don't know. So I look at it that way. And then I think of like our own people who struggle with this and are making their own life choices. And sometimes there's no medical choice, no medical option for them because of the failure of funding and the failure of the US government for the Indian people, the American Indian. And so we're out here struggling on our own. And so many of our relatives have the option of comfort care. That's what you get. You make the decision to just go to hospice and do comfort care. And what happens in comfort care? In comfort care for Indian people, American Indian people, many of us, what happens for us, and I've seen this in many of my relatives' end of life. Comfort care is starvation and dehydration. All they do is hook you up to some morphine and wait for you to die. So not even in the reflection of all of the BS that Joe Biden was involved with the genocide and the Holocaust of the Palestinian people, I would just bring all of that right back to the American Indian. Like we're not even free of our own. Like the genocide is an ongoing effort. And so that's the truth. The thing that we see now is that the players, right? So even though we were able to break a system and get ourselves employed within those institutional systems, we learned that we have to operate within the rules of those systems. And so even though we fought to free ourselves from the oppressor, we become the oppressed through those same policies. It's the same thing for IRA government. IRA government has to operate under the confines of the 1934 Indian Reorganization Act. So all our constitutions, especially the Oglala Sioux tribes, says that we have to get the approval of the Secretary of Interior. And our tribal council is so afraid of releasing us from that responsibility and connection to the federal government. So all IRA is an arm of the federal government. And so whenever they do these 638 contracts for healthcare, these Title I contracts for healthcare. All that is another arm of the federal government oppressing us. And we see it. We see it. And we say it. But nobody does anything about it, except for the people continue to keep saying it. And people get elected who don't do anything about it. Because once they get elected, they are within the confines of those systems. So then they become a system player, and people are afraid to change the system. And it's very easy to do it. I mean, it should be like a constitutional convention. Have one. Constitutional reform. Do it. Change it. And then act as a sovereign entity. Create your own way of living instead of chasing federal dollars, instead of chasing all of this other capitalistic stuff, change it and do something. We'd all be better people. But then again, that might just be hyperbole. I don't know. Because we may have already gone down that road. We've been in it ourselves since 1934, living the American dream with our IRA Constitution. And from 1934 to now, we're almost 100 years. We're almost 100 years of corruption. Our constitutional leaders, our legislatures, our councils, our presidents, they all act and perform the way that they're supposed to. And it's a hard thing for us to admit, but it's the truth. I don't know how we change it, because every time we try to engage in change, it is stopped by the Constitution itself. I mean, by the constitutional leaders itself. And then the federal government says, look at them. Crazy. Oh, yeah, Steve. I don't know. I'll just tell you, I guess I don't sympathize because I think about all of that stuff. And they don't sympathize for us. Only if it's going to get them votes. Only if it's going to get them votes, then we matter. So that's that. So General Joe's got some health problems, and I don't know. Maybe I'm heartless. Well, maybe I'm heartless in my thinking. And oftentimes they say you should just keep it to yourself. So I failed at that today, keeping it to myself. Hey, there's some graduation still continuing, and I just wanted to take time to say congratulations to all the graduates out there. We have people still trying to thrive and strive and do that for themselves. And so we have college graduations, we have high school graduations, eighth grade graduations, even kindergarten. My granddaughter is going to go to kindergarten next year. So she's on her educational journey, and she's kind of funny because she was doing this thing for me. She was a little cranky this morning, but she was saying, putting words together. So she says, boy, cow. Is it boy, cow, or cowboy? So she's teaching me how to put words together and ask questions about them and to understand how they come together. And so I thought that was, and she's just cute doing those things. She does her numbers. Um, the sad thing about all of it is um, the practice of assimilation and acculturation, because we still put English first and we still put that first, and everybody's bought into it except for a few people. But we also, like keeping people home, and you get in trouble for it because tribal law says you have to put them in school. State law says you have to put them in school. Tribal law doesn't even give you an option for homeschooling. State school gives you options for homeschool. But yeah, so that's that. So congratulations to all those guys out there graduating from high school. It's really, I watched this speech that was given by this young girl graduating high school in Texas, and she talks about like whether or not they have a future to go into because of the attack on education, the attack on like uh, public education, accountability to charter schools and things like that. And so she was really saying that. And then even on universities and research, like what's the um, you want to go to school to become a researcher, like where do you go to school? Because there is a war against, or there's propaganda, or whatever, against research, against education, against science, and that. So congratulations to all the graduates. Um, it's really um it's really something we should be proud of. We should be proud of our people for striving, but we should be proud of our people for everything they do. Like, it's hard to be in this situation. And I was thinking about doing a show just on the whole thought processes, or of how we come to the terms of colonization. Who created that word? Who created colonialism? Who created imperialism? Who created those words? Who created minority? Oh my goodness, my granddaughter's just belching over there. Who created, these kind of thoughts? And but that might actually end up being a whole like semester. Like we'll have to do, maybe I'll teach a class on intersectionality and how all of that ends up breaking down into things where we why government might be so invested right now into breaking up those rules. Anyways, well, even that, Steve, when they talk about gender endings and things, um, like men will often speak using women gender terms or women terms because they were taught by their grandmothers. They were taught by their mothers. Language is passed from your mother's tongue, your grandmother's tongue. And so doing that is what um so you're learning her language, and then at some time you go learn your dad's language or your grandfather's language. And so that's the thing. Okay, when I'm done. Can I have ice cream? I don't know about ice cream. I love ice cream. I never have Anyways, so you can hear her. She is closing our show for us. Anyway, so I am thinking about it. I'll do something. Maybe I'll set up a webinar or something of that sort where we just come together and we learn outside of a live stream or something. So yeah, we could work on that. Yeah, Steve, your dad should teach you English. Anyways, you guys, thank you for joining me this morning. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Don't forget to like this video if you haven't, and don't forget to share it if you haven't. So we grow together. So I want to thank you for joining me this morning. I wish you a good rest of your Sunday, good rest of your week. If you're still attending graduations, make sure you're walking, because I was overeating all this stuff. It's like, oh, I made myself miserable. So be careful out there. Be